Welcome to the New World Order. This New World Order will be a new society and features lots of changes. This new society is great for some and not so great for others. In the New World Order, you will learn to love to live more modestly. You do not need to own things when you can simply lease them from your loving government-approved companies. We will transform our current pollution-ridden cities to something much more beautiful, and you will love it. Life in the New World Order will be different. In this new perfect world, cash will be illegal. Everyone will be issued a certain amount of global credits, which will be the only way you can buy and sell in the new society. These digital financial credits will also be tied to your social credit scores. Your credit scores will become your digital footprint and will be used to control your travel, what you can buy, where you can live, your energy usage, medical excess. Everything you do will be in a government database. This is great. You will be issued more credits if you are good and promote our new system. Citizens will be given less global credits if they ever criticize the New World Order. If you are non-binary, can barely think, worship the devil, and help promote the New World Order, you will be greatly rewarded with extra credit each month. Since robots and AI will replace most jobs, you will have more time to play your favorite video games and watch more Netflix. This is so great. In the new society, parents will not be allowed to make decisions for their children. The government will raise your kids. Each child will be assigned a state-sponsored caseworker. These caseworkers will teach your kids that everything is racist, how to be queer or gender fluid. Everyone in your family will be docked global credits, and your family could be relocated to a FEMA camp. Resistance is foolish. In this New World Order, it's important to follow the rules. Certain websites will be illegal.
Daddy, what is Infowars.com?
Oh crap.
If you see something, say something. You as a citizen should report your neighbors if they aren't following the new rules. You have the power to make the world better. Caring, reporting, assisting, progressive, C-R-A-P, which stands for crap. You too can be a piece of crap and will be greatly rewarded. As we see here, this man misgendered a man lady. The police are dealing with him in the most fitting way. This offender seen here did not recycle his paper straws. If you don't like this, you will be sentenced to death by lethal injection.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Things will get so bad in our society. Your family will be begging for the New World Order. You will need the government in order to survive. In this new utopia, if you do not comply with our new laws and regulations, our totally not corrupt federal and local judges will make sure that you are given the proper penalties. Jail, financial ruin, death penalty. Anything is possible. Do not complain about the hyperinflation. Do not complain about the higher taxes. And do not complain about Bill Gates' death panels. This is for the greater good. This is what I call happy making time. Let us all celebrate this New World Order. The New World Order. Please stay a while. We won't keep you for long. We'll keep you forever. 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 Forever.
No, they're not blood clots. And what I'm about to say is going to sound really crazy, but I trust you will look into it. Look into Interbody Nano Network administered through fax. Just type in those keywords. Then look into transhumanism. Then look into the Internet of Bodies. Then look into how the Internet of Bodies is going to tie into and become the foundation of this new digital financial system that's coming. And then it's all going to make sense. It is self-assembling nanotechnology for the purpose of creating a carbon nanotube network within the human body to make the human body a device that can eventually be linked into the Internet of Bodies. It is biotechnology. created through the manipulation of lipids with polyethylene glycol, pegylation. Polyethylene glycol is one of the components that can be used to make hydrogel. And after the self-assembling nano network is administered in the human body, along with nanosensors, which is what those round modulars that people are finding, the next step is a form of a chip, which will probably come in the form of like a quantum dot tattoo that will be initiated for the usage within the digital financial system that is coming. But once that chip is put in place with the intrabody nano network, that will be the authentication and individualization of every human body that has this technology within it, the network and the chip, making them all devices linked into the Internet of Bodies. The psychological, biological, genetic, and physiological data from every single individual will be what backs the new financial system. Information is the new gold. And all of the data being harvested no longer requires permission or notification from anyone that took this jab, because they are now GMOs, which is a product owned by a corporation. The head of that corporation is BlackRock.
You will own nothing. And you will be happy.
Warning. Your weekly rental smart contract will automatically execute in 72 hours. Please ensure that your personal wallet is appropriately funded. Your scheduled Uber ride share will arrive in 10 minutes. Now arriving at your destination.
我们现在到达您的目的地。
Good morning. Waging number 22177? New transfer?
Yes.
Good. Look up. So what do you think of your new work pod? Pretty nice, right?
Yeah. It's a bit cramped though.
Oof. That's bad speak. I'll let you sort that out. See you at the mandatory chivalry roll call dance later today.
Yikes. You have violated your employment smart contract. Replaying offending speech.
It's a bit cramped though.
This statement is in direct contradiction with the verified Snopes fact that OpenOffice 2.0 work pods are comfortably spacious, combining the safety of closed cubicles with the communal spirit of OpenOffice environments. You have been deducted 20 Good Boy tokens from your weekly income. Warning. Projected weekly income is insufficient to meet your weekly rental payment. Please ensure that your wallet is appropriately funded within the next 68 hours.
Once we're fully digital in our currency, that'll mean the government will be able to track absolutely every bloody thing you ever do, and also be able to do things like they're already doing in China. So the Chinese government has put expiry dates on some digital currency. So they, if they need to have the population spend more, let's say because there is a recession, they could just put in an edict that would make sure that your money depreciated by 2% every month, so that would be an impetus to spending. And they could do the reverse if they wanted you to save. And so it means in potential the emergence of a system for comprehensive control that's so complete that we can barely imagine it. And we might say, well, isn't that paranoid? And I would say, look, we still think we were in a what we were really in was an epidemic of imitating the Chinese communists. We thought when we integrated China into the world economy that the Chinese would turn into a Western democracy. But what's happening instead, I would say, is that because we've invited the Chinese to the table, we're turning into the CCP. Yeah, and people are certainly not, and we're doing it under the guise of this idiot protect the virginal planet environmentalism that's all motivated by this, what would you say, fear-mongering apocalypse.
I'm at Whole Foods and I'm about to pay for my groceries with my... It'll work. That's the coolest thing ever. That's the coolest thing ever.
But what does central bank digital currency look like? You see? So they never talk about that because people won't actually like the looks of it.
Yeah.
Because it apparently looks, and several central banks apparently, as I heard from my sources, have already fully developed the final stage of CBDC. I mean, it comes in stages, initially likely through your mobile phone, but that's only an intermediate step. And the final stage is, it's small, and it's the size of a grain of rice. They've already now moved to the system, RFID chips, RFID technology where you just wave the thing, contactless.
Yes.
That is sort of the conditioning us in this direction, that in the future you'll just wave your hand because you've got the microchip implant under your skin. But you can lose your card, somebody can steal your card, and then you're just waving. That's kind of risky. Well, wouldn't it be nice if you couldn't lose it and nobody could steal it? But it's clear that that's it is almost a step too far for a lot of people, because it is a violation of human dignity to actually inject something like that under the skin. So that's where you need some more persuasion.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that this concept of universal basic income has been around for around a century, where everyone should get some kind of citizens, payment. But the billionaire elites have so far not liked that. But since 2015, they've all come out. I mean, all the big billionaires and World Economic Forum have come out, this is a good idea, universal basic income. Well, why suddenly now? Because now we have the technology for the microchip implant. And so in 2017, Bill Gates came out and said that universal basic income is a good idea, but it's too early to introduce it. Now, what was still missing? So we had the technology for the microchip implant, but what was missing was the digital ID hadn't been introduced. Now, this is where this whole agenda had become very useful.
산업과 산업 간의 융합의 시대다라고 생각을 하고 있고요. 그게 다른 말로 딜이지 않습니까? 새로운 딜, 뉴딜. 산업 간의 융복합화 시대에 아주 기본적인 그런 인프라를 지금 우리가 구축하고 만들고 시범 서비스를 하고 있다라고 저는 생각을 하고 있고요. 이 디지털 신분증이 잘 적응하고 활용될 수 있도록 국민들한테 또한 많은 홍보가 됐으면 하는 게 제 개인적인 생각입니다.
야, 거기 어때? 너 일은 제대로 하고 있는 거야? 얘 거기 들어가더니 아주 그냥 팔자가 늘어졌네?
아휴, 팔자가 늘어지긴 뭐가 늘어져요. 여긴 그 칩 때문에 아주 난린데.
칩이라니? 뭐 알아낸 게 있어?
형님, 왜 스마트 지구에서 5천일 만에 범죄가 일어났을까요? 일반 지구 사람들은 없고 스마트 지구 사람들한테만 있는 거 뭘까요?
칩?
그래요, 그 칩. 안전 케어 칩.
그래, 그 칩. 그 아무리 생각해도 납득이 안 되네. 야, 그것만으로 저 범죄가 전혀 없다고? 5천일 동안?
분명 그 칩에 숨겨진 다른 기능이 있을 거예요.
They put their operatives in to cut off our energy, demoralize us, release the hardened criminals, put the political activists in prison, continue to cut off the resources to make an angrier world. Klaus Schwab says, we're going to make the world collapse, but first they have to demolish the cultures and societies that we had before with the fentanyl, with the open borders, with the demoralization, and then they bring in their next phase, which is a high-tech, cashless society, robot, drone-controlled nightmare, show half the U.S. off-limits to humans. All cars will have to have GPS. Everybody by law will have to have a cell phone at all times. Every car is robot kill switch, GPS controlled. California is moving to ban all the, quote, classic cars. That's any car that doesn't have a digital ignition. And they admit it's for control.
Maybe in a couple of decades, when people look back, the thing they will remember from the crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital. And if this was the moment when everything became monitored, that we agreed to be surveyed all the time, not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly at all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin.
Those transaction data in terms of how many coffee I drink every day, where I buy coffee, do I use Uber every day, and what kind of working hours I have. Those non-traditional data can be very useful for financial service providers to give me a credit score. And based on that credit score, the financial service provider give me a credit line without any face-to-face due diligence.
Is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability.
Dans ce nouveau monde, on doit accepter une transparence, et je dirais même une transparence totale. Le secret bancaire, tout va être transparent. Et il faut s'habituer, il faut se comporter ainsi. Ça devient, comment dirais-je, intégré dans votre personnalité, mais si on n'a rien à cacher, il ne faut pas avoir peur.
조던 피터슨 교수도 말하지만 CBDC가 있는 사회는 중국식 공산주의 사회입니다.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. Okay. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah.
Because there is no job, machine, robot is taking over.
That's simply and I want to be clear that these are not things that I think that I wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say, what are we going to do about it? And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary. Now, the output of goods and services will be extremely high. So with automation, there will come abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. I think the biggest. I think we'll just end up doing a universal basic income. It's going to be necessary. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? Like a lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. So if you don't have, if you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you what's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? That's a much harder problem to deal with.
Good afternoon. It has come to our notice that you are spending a large amount of time playing video games. Last week, your average gaming time was 6 hours a day. These are unproductive hours that can also be spent on work, education, volunteer work or anything else that has a beneficial value to your society. How about we stop playing games for now so you can focus on valuable things? In case you deny our offer and choose to keep playing games, you don't add any value to your society. This means we will have to lower your social credit by 3 points. Please choose again. Excellent choice. You will now be blocked from playing video games for 7 days. Your social credit score remains the same by 648 points.
So do you have any spare change for someone in need?
I do. Are there any cameras around here?
There is one on the corner of the street. I don't sit there because I don't want them to observe me.
I can give you money, but it has to happen in front of the camera.
If you want me to sit next to the camera, you'll have to give me at least $10.
Fine. Now go there.
Hi sir, do you have $10 for me?
Sure, fellow citizen, here you go. Make sure to spend it on something good like a product from the amazing company Amazon.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. We have noticed you donating money to the people in need. For that, you get 1 social credit point. On top of that, our partner Amazon noticed you promoting their company to another human. Therefore, you get another social credit point. You now have 650 points. We have received a tip about the fact that you are harassing a fellow public transport traveler. This will result in a decrease of your social credit score by 5 points. Since you are below a score of 700 points, it is not possible to submit a counter notification.
Need a ride?
Thanks for getting me a ride home, sir.
You are welcome, dude. I hope this good deed will get me the final social credit point.
Final point? You mean you are 1 point away from the 1000 mark?
Yes.
Holy shit, you're like a level 99 mafia boss. How is it like having such a high social credit score?
It's amazing. You get accepted into every store and restaurant, you get early access and discounts to events, the ladies love you, and the list goes on.
How did you manage to get there?
Years of being nice to everybody, spending all your free time on things that are valuable for society, and always stay away from the slightest form of trouble.
So basically you have no real life?
What? I have a great life.
But it's a fake life too. How hard must it be to be nice to everybody, even towards your enemies or that annoying Karen yelling at you at the store? How awful must it be having to spend all your time on the society and never on your own enjoyment?
How awful must it be not to be accepted on a simple bus ride? Or to be put behind people with a higher social credit score? Or to be losing points because someone like me can simply order a complaint about you?
That's awful too. I guess we both have our pros and cons.
I disagree. My life with a top-tier social credit score is amazing and I love this country. Our government is the best and I cannot think of another life but this.
Was that an attempt on getting a social credit point?
Can you turn on flight mode on your phone please?
Done. Why did I have to turn on flight mode?
Because now the government can't hear us talking. Listen kid. This social credit system is an absolute hell. No one is living life anymore. You either get punished for it and therefore losing the quality of your life, or you choose to give your life for a good credit score which is also at the cost of a good life. I feel like I have to tiptoe every second of my life. The moment I saw you I knew that you were a real person and not a zombie for the social credit score. It feels good to be able to speak my mind. Usually you get punished for talking like this but luckily this conversation cannot be monitored.
What a shame. The man had so much potential. Don't be the social credit.
It has come to our notice that you have been using bad thinking and negative speaking about your government. Lying and negativity are crimes we take very seriously. Therefore we are lowering your score by 500 points. This brings you at a social credit score of 499. You are no longer allowed to drive a car. Please step outside of the vehicle.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about this digital biometric ID, the MasterCard Smile payment, and Iran bringing in digital IDs as a requirement to buy bread at subsidized prices, which I've been getting a lot of emails about in the last 24 hours with people saying they're going to make people have digital IDs to buy food. Well, and I'll get onto that in a second, but first let's take a look at this news today about biometric IDs and the way MasterCard are attempting to introduce biometric payment systems. Here we see MasterCard launches Smile to Pay system amid privacy concerns. MasterCard is rolling out a controversial program that will allow shoppers to pay at the till with a mere smile or a wave of the hand as it tries to secure a slice of the 14.4 billion pounds biometrics market. Here's a clip.
You may not have to grab your wallet or phone to pay when you go to a checkout in future. That's because MasterCard has rolled out a new way of paying a bill, and it's with your face. The US finance giant's biometric checkout program uses the same technology that already unlocks your phone. AJ Bala is president of cyber and intelligence at MasterCard.
It's a cool new technology which allows consumers to pay with a smile, their face, or just wave. So you can forget the clunkiness of taking your wallet out or your devices out or cards out. You just do your shopping. You go to the checkout and just pay with your face.
As you've heard me say before, many times, this is the lame excuse these control freaks use for you to give up your personal data, to have your face scanned into a digital control grid network. The excuse of, momentary inconvenience. It's not even that, it's just saving you a few seconds here and there. Wow, thanks, that's really worth it. It doesn't take long to pay with cash. Here is a £10 note. Here is your change, sir. Done. Doesn't take long. Your stupid credit and debit cards actually take longer, having to punch in digits and whatnot. And now they want you to smile into a camera just to save you a few seconds. That's the benefit. What is the benefit to them? To get your face into a control grid network so you can be tracked everywhere you go. So, for example, in the future, you can be walking down the street and you're at a traffic light. There's no traffic and you cross the road even though the lights are red. But the CCTV facial recognition knows who you are and is tracking your every movement, and you get an instant fine for jaywalking, as they call it in America. You think that's far-fetched? That's what they're doing in China right now.
MasterCard said their first pilot would launch this week in Brazil with the PayFace app. The company said it's also working on other similar projects.
Yeah, I bet they're working on loads of projects to create that digital prison. Again, if people don't allow themselves to be coerced into using these things, then people will retain the power. If people have the awareness of what's coming down the line, they won't be coerced. That's why an awareness is so key in all of this. Now, getting back to Iran and this story here in the Financial Times. Iran's raising cuts back on bread subsidies. Rare move as wheat prices soar and Tehran tries to steer economy hard hit by sanctions, it says here. Now, the price of bread in Iran has soared, which has created some riots, it says here in this article. To counter this food price increase, it says the government will offer citizens digital coupons that will allow them to access a limited amount of bread at subsidized prices, while the rest will be available at market rates. The bread scheme will come into force in about 2 months. The scheme will later include other goods such as chicken, cheese, vegetable oil, officials have said. Recently, Iran have introduced a biometric digital ID. As you can see here, Iran unveils new e-government components as digital ID importance grows, it says, in which they say Iran's e-government program is part of a series of efforts to digitize services such as public safety and justice and establish a biometric digital identity. Now, I've not been able to establish with certainty that the digital coupons are used in coordinates with the digital ID, but I'm assuming they are, and if not, they will in the future. As all of these governments have stated, they want like one app to be the center of all dealings with the government in their new digital ID dystopian world that they're trying to create. And any subsidy or benefit in regards to food would be coming from the government and through this digital ID. And so therefore, we do have the first instance of needing a digital ID to get coupons from the government to buy food at subsidized prices. Now, we're not going to get all sensationalist on this, like, oh, they're going to make people get a digital ID to buy food, as that's not the actual case here. But it's the first step towards it being a possibility, I suppose. It is deeply insidious all the same. To me, they will try to coerce the public into getting these biometric ID passports, the same way they did with the jab, using coercement, temptation, and fear. It's the same. Just as people were threatened with losing their jobs if they didn't get the jab, just as corporations used free food like donuts or free KFC or even offering free money and free flights to, as they called it, to incentivize people to get the jabs. Anyhow, they will use those same methods to coerce the public to get a digital ID passport. In this instance, in Iran, is to get discounted food, bread, and I'm sure they will add all kinds of benefits to getting the biometric ID to tempt people in. And then they will use other scare tactics. But just like with all of those other deceptive sociological and psychological strategies they have used over the last 2 years, people need to hold the line, stay strong, keep focused. Don't allow them to turn you into the type of person who will smile on order to get some discounted bread with their biometric ID, okay? Only problem is not enough of them are aware. Awareness is the key. Share this video, push it around, get people to think about their futures and the choices they have going forward. As always, thanks for listening.